Hey guys, so I know that wigs are an investment, and any investment you want to take care of it. So I wanted to talk to you today about some of the best ways to store your wigs to make sure that they last, they live their best life, and they look great every day. The first way I want to show you guys how to store your wigs is probably my favorite way. It's also a way that you have seen a lot on my channel. If you look right behind me, you're going to see what looks like a wall of wigs. That is exactly what it is. I've gone to Amazon and I've gotten pot racks, and I buy them in sets of 2 because obviously if you looked at this room, you would see how many I have. When you have a really small space to store your wigs, this is a great way to do this because they're hanging up and down right next to each other. You can put about 10 to 12 wigs on each rack, and it makes it really nice and compact, but very easy to see. Now let's talk about the hooks that you actually see holding these wigs up on these poles. When you buy these from Amazon, they're going to come with these little S hooks. You can use these. I used these for years before I switched over to something that I like a little bit better. This is great if you want to hang your wigs. You can just hook it right on to the cap. If it's an open wefted wig, you can hook it right into the wefts. If it's not, you have to find a good place to hook this into. Sometimes the straps work. It really just depends on the way the wig is constructed. Now, a con to these and why I switched over to the other hooks that I'll show you next is there's a few things that this can kind of do and damage your caps if you don't hook them on correctly. So I found that when I hung this on a strap, if it was just a stretchy strap, it could cause some stretching in that elastic. And when I would wear it, it would feel a little looser. So I would have to hook it on to the next hook. So that's something to keep in mind if you start to feel like your wig is feeling a little loose. Maybe it's because the way you're hanging it is stretching out the elastic in the wig somewhere. Another thing I noticed was because I was hanging this kind of on the side of the wig and not right here in the center, the wig would get volume on one side versus the other, especially if it was a wig that had been hanging for quite a while. So I would have to kind of restyle or sort of smooth out one side or kind of fix it. It didn't seem like it was kind of a symmetrical look. And that's something that I noticed because, like I said, wasn't in the center. It's hanging over here on the side or upside down. So it's great if you have a wig that you want to add some volume to, but if you're not looking for the volume, it might not work great for you. Now, this brings me to the upgraded hooks that you see on the wall today. These are actually boot clips, and there's a few things that I like better about these. One is I actually like the hook better. I think it holds on, it doesn't fall off. When I'm moving wigs around, I don't have to worry about it popping off and the wig falling on the floor. So that's definitely a pro just with the hook on the top. Another pro that I like about this is it actually has these little clips here. So when you take this wig off and you go to hang it, one of the issues I had with the other ones was the weird having to hook it on the side or the back. This can literally go right on the part. So if it's a middle part, it's gonna stay nice and symmetrical and flat the way you want it to. Now, if it's a free part wig, you wanna just kind of figure out where it makes the most sense to hang it. Sometimes those can be kind of heavy, and I have to figure out the exact spot on the center part of the wig that's going to keep it attached and hanging on the wall. Now, when I use these, I always make sure that I attach it where the lace and the wig cap meet, or the wig cap itself. Try not to hang it on the lace, especially up towards the front. It can damage the lace, especially if you have really sensitive, thin, fine lace. You don't want to cause any weird kinks or ripping or anything like that. Now, when you're using this boot clip, I do want to make a couple suggestions. One is that you want to make sure that you're taking this and attaching it to the back base of this wig where you see the actual cap construction, not on the lace. If you need to attach it on the lace because there isn't a lot of space, you can, but try to do it where it actually connects to the cap construction. Or if it's a full lace wig, you just have to be really careful. I've seen some people take felt and put it in between here to kind of help lessen the pressure on the lace itself. It really all depends on the type of lace and the type of construction that your wig is. If you're ever unsure or you're worried about where exactly to put this boot clip, you can always email me at wigsupport@jmsimons.com and I will be happy to help. Just make sure you send me a picture of the inside construction of the wig. Another way you can store your wigs is actually probably the most affordable way and something that you don't have to look far to get. When you get a wig in the mail, a lot of times it's going to come in a box just like this. And this is a great way to store your wigs. There are some pros and cons to this. One being that it's going to take up more room. You have to find a place to stack these boxes, and you have to find a place to be able to open them up and look at them when you need to find a wig. Hey guys, I wanted to step in and remind you, if you haven't yet, make sure you go over to our website and grab your wig passport. This is a free all-in-one wig guide with a bunch of wig tips and tricks to help you along your wig journey. Now back to the video. Now these boxes are gonna come in all different shapes and sizes depending on who you get them from. Some people are really nice and they actually think of the storage solution for you and they'll put silk inside of these. It really just depends on who you're getting your wig from and a lot of times how much that wig cost you. Another way that your wig might come in the mail is in one of these really cool bags. Now again, depending on where you're getting your wig from, really depends on what kind of bag you get. Let's go over a couple that I have here to show you and some things I like and dislike about certain ones. First up is your basic organza bag. A lot of wig companies are going to use these, especially a lot of the smaller mom and pop businesses. These are a great affordable solution for them and they still look nice and you can have the design and logo of your company. The cool thing about these is you can store your wigs in them. I know a lot of people that do. You can make tags, you can hang them. Lots of ways you can use these. But as far as protection goes, when you are keeping your wig safe, there's a few things I don't love about this style of bag. One of the cons to these type of organza bags is when it comes to synthetic wigs, you want to try to avoid having your wig sitting out in sun or light. And if you are keeping your wigs in a bag like this that is essentially see-through, and you are in a well-lit room or they're hanging by a window, you could potentially see some fading in your wigs. I have had that happen in the past, so that is definitely something that can happen to your wigs. Now, how often this is gonna happen or if this is gonna happen to you will depend on your setup and the room you're gonna be hanging these in. Or don't hang them, put them in your drawer. Now, something I wanna mention to you guys, because I'm sure you have quite a few of these laying around, is I do not recommend these for traveling. Now, that is gonna be for a few reasons, but the biggest one is that this material is not soft, and when you put your wig inside of it, your wig is inevitably going to be moving around. Doesn't matter how tight you pack your suitcase, if you're pulling things out, the wigs are flying, we all know what happens, and inside that bag, the wig is moving. Like I said, this is not a soft material and it can cause rubbing and friction on your wig, which can cause the style to get a little deformed and can cause you to need to do a little fixing when you pull it out of the bag. But if that's what you want to use, I have something that'll help you fix that wig when you take it out of the bag. I want to show you guys a few other types of bags that I like a little better for different reasons. Now, this first one right here, you might get from some nicer high-end luxury type brands. This one here is from Wigs, and it's a really soft, silky, velvety outside, and it's kind of just a plain normal cotton material on the inside. So it doesn't have like a nice soft texture in here. So it's still gonna cause some of that friction and rubbing, but it is not see-through. So when you use this to store your wigs, you don't have to worry about any of the fading or the sunlight like we talked about. So this has definitely got some pros and cons, and you really have to decide what is important to you. Now, the last traditional bag I want to show you is probably my favorite out of the three. And that is really because of the material this bag is made from. This is a silk bag. Now, this is not a silk lined bag, so keep that in mind. There's something I like to do with this to really help my wig, but these are great. It's really soft, silky material. This is gonna help keep that friction down, keep your wig looking nice and not have a crazy thing coming out of this bag. If you do this one thing. When I use these bags, I actually take them and I flip them inside out, because when you look at these on the inside, they're not double lined. So there is not a silk lining on the inside of this bag. If you use it as it is, it won't be soft and rubbing on your wig in a nice, gentle way. But if you flip it inside out, you now have that silk on the inside and your bag is gonna be nice and protected. And it's still not a see-through bag, so it's safe from the sun too. There are a ton of wig solutions for storing your wigs out there. And if you really want to get fancy or really take care of your wigs, there are some great luxury style bags. This one here is from Silky Sack, and this one has all those features we talked about. It is not see-through. It has a silk lining on the inside of the bag. It still has the super soft velvet on the outside of the bag, and it is huge. Another really cool thing about some of these bags is they will actually have some way to attach your wig inside so it moves even less. Make sure you guys check out the comments below for all the links to these things I've showed you. Make sure you're saving those bags and boxes when you get your wigs in. I hope you guys found this helpful, and I will see you on the next one. When you buy a wig, a lot of times it is going to come in either a box. What was that?
That's what you do. You just went.
I didn't mean to because it was in my way, and I think I moved myself instead of moving the box. So I moved around the box.